Hello and welcome to Talking Books. I'm Jill de Villliers. It's often a challenge for aspiring township entrepreneurs to establish and run a productive, compliant and profitable business because they simply don't know where to start. My guest today is Isaac Mavuso. As a facilitator and a coach, he discovered a need for a book of handy tools for young township entrepreneurs, and he sat down to write Building a Successful Kazi Business, The Rise of a Township Entrepreneur. Welcome, Isaac. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jill.
Tell me, how did you discover this need? When did you discover it and how did you discover it?
Well, basically it was 3 years ago. I've been facilitating for more than 10 years and been very fortunate to work with township entrepreneurs, cooperatives and as well as non-profit organizations. But when I was busy working with them, the idea was I wanted to do, when I saw the need of doing, a lot of people were needing to do business plans because they wanted to do businesses and all that stuff. So a lot of people were coming to me so that I can help. So I was helping. Then I developed a sort of a business plan development workshop. But when I was facilitating that, I realized there's something also lacking in that space because you're teaching them how to do a business plan, but there's something that is missing. So I decided, okay, let me just observe exactly what is needed when I am busy working and facilitating in this process. Then I realized the challenge was people did not understand the concept around entrepreneurship. So it was then to say, okay, then it has to be business plan and then entrepreneurship. And then again, continuing facilitating was what were the common themes that were coming up as I am helping people to run small businesses, as I was also running a catering small business here and there, and also as a consultant. What were the challenges? And then that's how the book culminated. And 3 years later, and I thought it would take 3 months, but
it took a bit longer than you expected.
A bit longer, yes.
And then you decided to self-publish it. Why did you decide that? And what were the challenges in self-publishing?
Well, a lot of it has something to do with, one is you want to have control of the book. But also is I wanted to have the book so that it can be, given to a lot of people, ideally, because, some of the entrepreneurs that we work with, a lot of township entrepreneurs don't have the money and the resources, but also some of the resources are very far. We don't necessarily have book shops easily in the township and all that stuff. So it means that they need to take a taxi, and between taking a taxi and, buying bread and a book, it will be bread. So I would love it to be identified by government or any other institutions or doing enterprise development to buy them in bulk and let's distribute them to the township. But then the idea is to help, more than just to sell, so that it will assist, because there's 10 steps within the book or 10 elements that could assist an entrepreneur to saying, okay, if I want to start a business, where do I start and how do I navigate those waters? Mm-hmm.
So the book is also very practical. It has a segment for notes, to make notes and so on. How do you recommend, first of all, just tell me, for an aspiring township entrepreneur today who would like to get hold of this book, where do they get it?
Okay, so they would get it from me if they could go to isaacmavuso.co.za. There will be details there. So or Facebook or WhatsApp.
But in township libraries, it won't be available at the moment yet, or that's what you're hoping for.
I'm hoping for that. I've got a proposal that I'm working on. There's about 11,000 libraries, I think, in South Africa, schools ranging from school libraries to municipal libraries and all of that stuff. So I'm putting together something, so if there's someone who really is thinking, I could go for that, we could literally put together that, so there is a proposal around that. So I would love them to be in the libraries to start with. If at least 3 books in each library, that would be, a win for me.
Mm-hmm. So why is it so practical, and how did you structure the book?
Okay, so as a facilitator I've learned that whatever that you do, it's not about telling people what to do, but it's about helping them identify themselves, or identify things about themselves, but learn about and grow about themselves and what they want to do. So that's why the book is designed in the way it is designed, is that you need to learn a concept and then find, for instance, when we talk about about yourself, it's about saying, okay, this is what we understand about yourself, but then what do you understand about yourself? What are you, what are you good at? And then you make notes around that. And also because when I read books, I always try to make notes, but there's no space for notes. So I thought, okay, let's create something so that it becomes practical, it becomes relevant, and it becomes easy to read. That's one of the most important things.
But in the country at the moment, we have a big need for entrepreneurs, for people to start businesses and employ people to help combat this unemployment figure that we have in the country at the moment. But
That's
not
true.
all people are born entrepreneurs.
Yes.
What is your advice in the book? Is it self-awareness? Is it examining yourself to make sure that you actually have the makings of an entrepreneur?
Look, it's about the idea of being self-aware is, do I like to start things or do I want to work where things have been established? It's just about that. So if I want to start things, then I might be entrepreneurial. Whether do I want to start them as a social entrepreneur or as a business entrepreneur or whatever the case is, or do I just want to support what has been started? Coming in with my skills and making sure that it's well established and it succeeds.
It's like a franchise.
Yes, whatever the case is. So you can read the book whether you are in that space or want to be an entrepreneur, because ideally it's about you growing as a person. But also when you read this and you work with an entrepreneur, there are things that you could show them as you go along. So there is nothing wrong whether you are wanting to be an entrepreneur or you're not an entrepreneur. But ideally, everyone becomes an entrepreneur at some space, because entrepreneurship means you own the space where you are. So if you are in this space in TV, you need to own this. You can't own everything in this space. So there's a specific space that you need to excel in, identify that, and run with that.
So what is it that you find was the greatest lack in terms of knowledge among aspiring township entrepreneurs in getting a business off the ground?
So first thing is that people don't know who they are. They don't know who this person is. So it's more around, because remember the challenges that we have in South Africa, the triple challenges, which is unemployment, poverty, and inequality. So one of the things is, if I don't know what I'm good at, who I am, what do I want, what do I aspire to, we don't have greater visions. We just want to be consuming things in most of the time. So if we don't understand that, then we can't, be productive citizens. So one is, the first thing is that understand who this person is, whether I want to work or start a business. Who is Isaac Mavuso? What is he good at? What are the red buttons? What is the one thing that would, make him, turn red, or whatever the case is? Understand that for me, then once I understand myself, then I can then be able to work with people, because now I know, okay, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. So even when I get to people, I tell them, I like this, I don't like that.
And then when you understand yourself, you can see opportunities.
Yes.
And what are the main opportunities in the car scene?
So there are a lot of opportunities, and I think one of the things that we need to be looking at, and particularly in government, is that one of the things that we need to strengthen is not necessarily turn township people into industrialists or big corporates. So we need to be able to say, can you run something very small but sustainably, but that would also take you out? For instance, if you were taking grant, it needs to take you out of a granting system, but you would live and live well from it. But also you need to learn that business is not if we're selling books today, they might not live forever. Okay, so at some point we need to put these books on, electronic versions and all that stuff. So there must be that thinking as you go along in terms of running a business, to say, as much as I run a small thing, if I'm selling magunya today, tomorrow they might not want magunya the way they want it. They might want it with, something on the side. Am I creative enough? And that's where education comes in, to say, am I creative enough to see those opportunities or to see and not to stuck in one place?
So now once you can see an opportunity, you need funding.
Yes.
And for funding, you need a business plan.
Yes.
So what is it? How do you help with your book for people to build a business plan?
So we have, templates. Sort of templates within the book, but also on the website, electronic versions of things that are coming from the book. So you can look at how to develop, a business plan and work on that from that space. But I think one of the things is that we need, it's understanding we don't necessarily need, it's not just about money. Okay, people put money up front, whereas it's the planning and the conceptualization that really needs to be crystallized. Whether it's your business plan, whether it's a business concept, you need to crystallize that first and then go out and saying, okay, will it work? Will it not work? And therefore, get people to assist you in making sure that your concept can work. And this is when you can use some of the institutions that are already there in the country. And
the next step would then be market research and sales and marketing.
Yes. So you have to, so the book is designed, there's simply, it's a beautiful book. We have a swift business plan outline, 10 things that people would be looking for that are bankable. And these are just add-ons: personal budgeting, basic monthly cash flow management statements. So we're looking at that. So it's very practical, is that it takes you to say, okay, what do you need? And then you work on that and you look at that and you develop that. Setting up a practical SMART goals. So that's very important. When you are setting up goals, you need to say, okay, I want to start from here, and then how do I get to the next level? So it tells you, it helps you how to build a compliance for your business. There's a checklist there to say, do I have a business plan? Do I have a business account? Do I have registration documents? So you can just look at that, and then helpful sites and contacts. There's at the back, there's helpful sites and contacts and stuff to read that you can be looking at to help you run an amazing business that you aspire to.
Oh. Isaac, that's fantastic. It's not a very thick book, but there's a lot of information in it and a lot of help.
I don't like reading thick books, so I just want to read something very small and hopefully
and practical.
And remember that a lot of township, we're not reading people. We're getting into that. So if you want people to read, you cannot bring them, a Harry Potter size thick book. So you need to bring them something that is very easy. But also here, that with the 10 elements, you don't necessarily have to read them, from cover to cover. You can just look at it and say, okay, self-awareness, vision, planning and organizing, sales, money matters. Which one is more important to me? And then really dive into that.
Isaac, thank you so much for coming in and chatting to us about your book.
Thank you very much.
And I'm sure it will be very helpful to township entrepreneurs.
It is an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. So the book that we looked at today is Building a Successful Car Seat Business, The Rise of a Township Entrepreneur. And the writer is Isaac Mavuso. Thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.